Hi lovelies, welcome to the Doghouse with me, Ria Bow, and he's Mike Phillip of American Nook Radio, kjjradio.com, and Dr. Glidden's Tactical Health. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great, and I want to say hello to Jane Gruber, John Barassa, and Steve Doiron on Kevin J. Johnston's Facebook page. Phoebe Long says, hey, Ria and Kevin. I'm not Kevin. Come on. I'm like half a Kevin, weight-wise. So good Friday morning, she says. And big shout-out and hello to everybody in all the cross-platform chats. Hugh Jass sent me a text message. He's listening in. And you were telling me before the show that you've got some great topics lined up for everybody today.
I most certainly have, guys. We've got all sorts going on. I'm looking at a cross-platform chat here, and I'm wondering whether something is connected with something wrongly. I can see Media Monarchy's gang kicking around in the cross-platform. There's a load going on. I don't know whether to mention them or not, because I don't know if I'm meant to be here. So, James, if you're around, let us know. But if I am coming across, or we're coming across on your chat, it's not intentional, I can believe you. But there's certainly something going on. So I want to say hi to Gary, hi to Kelly, Rob Robinson, hello. Jack, hi Jack, how you doing? And hi everybody else on Facebook. It's the Doghouse again, and we are in it because we can't usually get back out of it. Thank you for joining us. I'll start off with the world weather and just get straight into it. I have a chat down here going absolutely bananas with people on it. I couldn't possibly tell you all their names because I'm not sure I'm supposed to, really. So I'm going to do the world weather. Here we go. Alberta, minus 32. Wow. Toronto.
She's cold, baby.
It is cold, isn't it? So we've got Toronto +1, England +6, Nice, south of France +9, Malaga, southern Spain +14, Camrose -28. Cairo +18, Rio de Janeiro 31, everybody down to Rio, Rome +11, Cape Town +23, Moscow -7, we're coming down this side of the pond as well, Seoul -7, Mumbai +27, Tokyo +1, Sydney +23, and Oslo -3. So we're slowly dropping off, guys. We're streaming live on wickedvid.com. Don't forget, we are starting to build it. The people that watched last week, I am making headway with bringing this all into one place so we can see live streams from people within our group kind of thing. I don't know where all this chat's coming from. I wish I could turn it around and show you, but I can't. Mike, what's on your mind today?
Well, you'd think I'd get tired of being right all the time, but somehow it just, it's very satisfying, fulfilling. By the way, Gaetan. Hi, Mike and Ray. He says hello back at you. Now, last Saturday on American Nook Radio, we had April Lejeune on to talk about these QAnon updates. And it turns out she was right. We were right. Now it's being widely reported. It's gone mainstream that Julian Assange, get this, was given diplomatic immunity by the Ecuadorian government and an international passport, and he is likely, or was, at Camp David, just like we pointed out. And while I was doing the show live, the time frame that we were talking about in which Julian Assange would be at Camp David to the protection of the Trump administration, one of my regular listeners, good friend, great guy all around, gay Trump supporter, by the way, his name is Dave. Dave in the Washington, D.C. swamp reported that there was an unusual amount of helicopter activity right over his house 20 minutes as the crow flies from Camp David. So it appears as though Julian Assange has been released from the Ecuadorian embassy and he has got diplomatic immunity. That means that he could go anywhere in the world and run somebody over with his car, and nobody can touch him. But the fact of the matter is, he's working with the Trump administration in conjunction with the executive order that was given on December 22nd to bring down child trafficking rings and human rights violators worldwide. Now, it's being widely speculated that this is going to be used to smash Planned Parenthood, the good folks that trade and run mercantile in baby parts. So, this is happening. I love it.
Okay, so I'm just going to jump in. So where are we saying, or where do we think Assange is right now?
It is widely, see, nobody can know that for sure, but it's widely speculated that he is being sheltered in the continental United States of America, working with the Trump administration. He put out a cryptic tweet on December 30th, Julian Assange did, where it was this song. And the lyrics to the song had parts of it where I can fly now, I got my paperwork, I've got more information than the KGB, and he put this out. So now the mainstream media has gotten these reports. InfoWars, incidentally, is reporting right before we went to air. David Knight was talking with Jerome Corsi about this very issue. So it looks like there's a disinfo campaign saying that he is going to be released when, in fact, it is now being proven that he was released, and the Trump administration is going after these high-level pedophile guilds like the Clinton Foundation. And that's what's happening. Assange has all the information. He's got the information on who killed Seth Rich. Who killed Seth Rich? The leaks that were going on inside the DNC. William Binney, former head of the DHS, came on InfoWars and said that those leaks were not coming from Russian operatives. They were, in fact, coming from inside the DNC. It is now speculated and about to be proven, in my opinion, that Seth Rich was killed by an MS-13 hit squad at the behest of the Clinton Foundation. This is all going to come out, and these people's world is closing in. But much like a cornered badger or Wolverine, they are still very dangerous. Ria.
Wow. I mean, it needs to come out, doesn't it? Because everybody's talking about it. It's just one of those crazy things that just makes the Dems, the Clintons, the Bushes, the whole deal look so crooked. And, you know, crooked people gravitate towards crooked people. So there's just going to be more crooked people going into that sort of syndicate, cabal, or whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to say hello to a few people because they've made the effort to come in. I've said hello to Jack, Gary, hi, Kelly, hi, Slick 1082, hello, Lisa, hi, Carrie Kempar, Rob Robinson, Gary and Justin. Right, okay, I've got a load of people in a chat here. Just so many, it's nuts. I can't say all the names because it's moving too fast, so that's really crazy. Right, I'm just going to play the accent, okay? You guys ready for the accent? Get your listening ears on. Where is this dude from?
The bug, when you touch it, it curls into a ball. They're slaters. What's the bubbly carbonated drink called? Soft drink. What do you call gym shoes? Runners. What do you say to address a group of people? Hey guys. What do you call the kind of spider that has an oval-shaped body and extremely long legs? That's a huntsman. What do you call your grandparents? Nana and Grandad.
Right, I'll stop it there. It's not as easy, that one, is it? I don't think that's as easy.
No, that's a tough one.
Okay, I sort of wound it up a bit, a little less obvious. So where do you think, guys? It's not as easy. Just drop it in the chat. You know, you can say whatever you like, you know, and I want to say last week, KH, you got quite a few people got Texas, didn't they? I need to find a way to log who gets what, where, when, and ever. We've got a comment in from Rob Robinson, which I can't read in my normal one. It says here, Assange in the process to make programming to take down the left fake news. What do you know then? That's interesting, because that would be wonderful. Okay, we got an Ohio, and I've got, the chat's really throwing me out here. So we've got an Ohio. That's great. That's really interesting.
I think it sounds slightly British to me. I don't know. It sounds like, I don't know, European.
Okay, so I've asked, Gary asked to, and Kelly, play it again, please. Play it again, please. Of course, I'll play it again, please. Right, here we go again.
The bug, when you touch it, it curls into a ball. They're slaters. What's the bubbly carbonated drink called? Soft drink. What do you call gym shoes? Runners. What do you say to address a group of people? Hey guys. What do you call the kind of spider that has an oval-shaped body and extremely long legs? It's a huntsman. What do you call your grandparents? Nana and Grandad. What do you call the wheeled contraption in which you carry groceries in at the supermarket? It's a trolley. What do you call it when rain falls and the sun's shining? It's a sun shower.
Not easy. I don't want to do them too difficult, but there you go, guys. Just bung it in there.
I've got a few guesses over on the Facebook live chat.
Okay, let's have them.
Beverly McLeod says Ireland.
Interesting. And what else?
Ed Jamnasek says New Zealand.
Oh, interesting. New Zealand. Any more?
Our old friend Phoebe Long says Australia.
Says Australia.
And John Barassa says South Africa. I'm going to go with South Africa with John. I'm going to say Dutch South African Boer. Not boar, as in boring, or a male pig, but Boer, as in a Dutch white South African.
Okay. I'm with you. Right, as opposed to Afrikaans. Okay, and Jack's gone over to Australia as well. Okay, so we'll move on. Have you got any stories, Mike? Well, you've already done one on Assange. I've got another one on Assange as well.
Great, let's hear it.
Although I didn't know exactly what was going on with Assange, I was kind of right saying expect some news, and we kind of got it, didn't we?
Did.
So here's something that I found quite interesting. Less reported, I might say as well. The matter is urgent. Voices must be raised. Documentarian John Pilger, I think we know him, issues statement of support for January the 16th webinar organising resistance to internet censorship. This is close to all of us with Kevin J and everything, and all of us really. As a journalist and filmmaker who has long navigated the mainstream, I offer my support to this important discussion between Chris Hedges and David North. I know Chris Hedges, not sure who David North is. Something has changed. Although the media was always a loose extension of capital power, it is now almost fully integrated. Dissidence once tolerated in the mainstream has regressed to a meteoric underground as liberal capitalism moves towards the form of corporate dictatorship. So there's a webinar going on. I got this off of a website called wsws.org. There's a bit that comes up at the bottom of the site if you want to watch the webinar. I think Chris Hedges is a switched on guy. So you guys, if you're interested in that kind of thing, maybe not, I don't know. Chris Hedges, I think is pretty switched on. Check that guy out, because that could be an interesting thing that's going on. I wouldn't be surprised if John Pilger got in on the action as well. So that's really interesting. Any comments on that, Mike?
No, not really. I mean, there's just so much earth-shattering stuff coming out right now. Elon Musk, it turns out, is a patriot and is working with the Trump administration on exposing this technocracy that wants to build this AI god. I mean, man, oh man, you want heads to roll? You want heads to roll? Go and make up your own god, man-made god. Heads are going to roll.
Totally. What can you do with it?
Elon Musk. What were you saying?
Sorry, I missed that. It's all a bit pickledy today, guys. There's an awful lot going on. The chat's going bananas. Okay, I'm going to move on to another one to keep it rocking. Here's another story that's close to my heart. Definitely on my radar and has been for quite some time. Monsanto, boo, trying to hide GMO foods under the term biofortified. So keep an eye out for that. Excuse me.
Biofortified?
Biofortified. Do genetically engineered crops and other pesticides make you think of the term biofortified? Chances are the term biofortified makes you think of vitamins in kids' cereals. Mega corporations are no stranger to propaganda and public relations. Did you know that much of the non-organic crops are grown with human sewage sludge? No, that's because the practice is called biosolids, to keep you in the dark. So Monsanto And obviously, I don't know if they did fully partner with Bayer or formerly IG Farben, but they're trying to get it under the radar with biofortified, because obviously I don't know how you guys have got the GM labeling your end. But keep an eye out for biofortified. What on earth does it mean? I don't know if that's your ballpark or not, Mike. What do you think?
GMOs, yeah, interesting topic. I mean, a lot of countries have actually banned the genetically modified seeds. We had a situation where the genetically modified seeds had a terminator gene so that you couldn't reuse them. And a lot of farmers in India actually committed suicide. We had the situation a few years ago where they were fighting over whether or not they had a legal obligation to label foods as GMO or not, so that you couldn't make a choice as to what you buy or an informed decision. Why? Why would they feel that it was so important that you don't know what you're getting? I took my kids to the Edmonton Space and Science Center when they were quite young, and this is when genetically modified organisms were just kind of hitting the scene. Not a lot of people had heard of them. That they had a whole pavilion dedicated to GMOs. Now, we're talking probably about 10 years, 11 years ago, and they were bragging and boasting how in 10 years there would be no more world starvation because they were going to figure out how to make these genetically modified seeds that would grow in sand where there was no nutrients, no soil. We were going to feed Africa. Instead, what did we do? The Clinton State Department bombed Libya and the giant aquifers that they were building to feed all of Africa. Whenever they come to you and say, we're going to save the world, it means they're going to kill a bunch of people. Up is down, good is evil, right is left.
Yeah.
They never do what they say they're going to do. Now, incidentally, I also know people in this area that several years ago, I spoke to a farmer in a community called Stettler, Alberta. He was saying that there was a Cargill representative, which is a division of Monsanto in my area, and this Cargill rep or salesman kept coming to his farm every single year trying to convince him to use their GMO seeds. Well, this individual, the farmer in question, always resisted. He said, I've been using regular seed the whole time. Why fix what ain't broke? That was kind of his attitude. So finally, he relented and used these seeds. Now, what happened was the following year, his fields developed a condition that they call club root. And club root destroyed his field. All the land was gone. Good for nothing. Can't grow anything on it anymore. He wanted to sell it. Land that had been in his family forever and ever. Almighty amen. And all of a sudden it's useless and he can't do anything with it. Now he doesn't know what he's going to do. So that's one thing that we've seen with the advent of genetically modified seeds. Now listen, I've been working with Dr. Peter Glidden for approximately 7 years. And a lot of people think that GMOs are the be-all, end-all of all the world's problems. If you're sick or you have cancer or this or that, it's because of GMOs. No, I don't believe that. I believe that they are one aspect of a perfect storm. If you add chemicals in the food, chemicals in the water, chemicals in the air, it all comes together in a perfect storm to create a situation where your body is being attacked on all sides. That being said, through proper nutrification, you can actually fight these things off. So that's my opinion on it, and I've seen it work in the past. And I'd like to remind you, if you're starving, if you're going to die because you haven't eaten anything, I don't care who you are, you're going to eat that genetically modified apple.
God, yeah, there's no doubting it, is it? Yeah, I don't like it because of the labelling, because of the whole 9 yards. Oh, yeah, I'm really conscious of it. We've got a few ones in. Monsanto agreed to accept Bayer Software to purchase the company. Oh, yeah, totally. Bayer, formerly IG Farben. Yeah, yeah, they're a lovely bunch, aren't they? What can you say? Night and Day's already put Monsanto in the doghouse for the end. Surfer 4 seconds that. Monsanto is evil and runs America. Wow, that's strong. They're bad, okay. Gary Kemper.
I would listen. I wouldn't say that they specifically run America, but they're definitely part of the cabal that's trying to take it down and kill everybody. I agree. They're part of it.
Right, and also because they've got the patent on the genetically modified food, they've now got this food supply. That's crazy. So that again, it goes back to a lawful thing. You know, you can't let anybody patent food. And because it's a predator crop, which they didn't tell the patent office, you've now got a predator crop on the loose that you can't stop. I know crops aren't particularly a sexy topic, but wow, do you know what I mean? Monsanto and Bayer, I think, are in bed together, as they say, and they're looking as though they've got the patent on food, or it soon will be, which is so scary. Indeed.
And everybody's screaming about Nazis these days. The fact of the matter is these companies actually came out of Nazi Germany, and their top scientists were brought to the United States during Operation Paperclip. There's a book by Jim Marrs called Rise of the Fourth Reich, where he talks about all of this, how Hitler was spirited off to Central or South America and protected by MI5. In fact, Ian Fleming, the famous author of the 007 novels, was said to be involved in the operation to get him out. And then the Soviets came in and said that they found his ashes and that he had died in the bunker. Now, as far as farmers go and the GMO crops, I interviewed about 3 years ago on a radio show that I was hosting called Fire Your MD Now. There's a farmer in Saskatchewan, Canada, the province of Saskatchewan. This man's name is Percy Schmeiser. Percy Schmeiser. Look that up. Percy Schmeiser. And what happened with him, he... Sorry, I was reading a comment and I got sidetracked. I'll go back to it. Anyways, Night and Day Plumbing. You're hilarious, buddy.
I got it.
So Percy Schmeiser, what happened with him is he refused to use genetically modified seed in his field. Okay? So what happened was his neighbors were using it, right? So he was spraying Roundup in the ditch around his field for weed control. And what he found was that there were certain plants that weren't dying on his land. Okay, so, and that's the kind of one of the purposes of these genetically modified seeds. They're Roundup ready, so you can poison the whole field and your crop won't die, just the weeds, right? So Percy Schmeiser sprayed this stuff just in his ditches, just to kill the stuff in the ditch. Good or bad idea, I'm not here to judge that. That's not the central point of this story. The point is, he found that there had been GMO seeds that had drifted into his field, whether they had come off of trucks that were bringing them to his neighbor, or the wind, or birds dropping them, whatever. But so, boom, he's got these patented GMO seeds all of a sudden on his land. And what happened when he reported it was Cargill reps, Monsanto reps came out to his farm. All of a sudden, he caught them in his field without his permission, and they were taking plant and soil samples, and they went to court to try to take away his land that had been in his family for generations, because they said, you're growing our patented seed without our permission. This court went all the way to this case went all the way to the Supreme Court of Canada, and Monsanto lost. Percy Schmeiser beat my Satan, or Monsanto, in this case. So there are precedents for this. Now, going back to the comment that I was laughing at, that I was distracted by, Night and Day Plumbing Solutions says, Mike, fortunately, when you built Rhea in your basement factory, you made her Monsanto adverse. Yeah, I was saying earlier on the show today, there was about 10 different prototypes. 6 of them wound up in jail, and 4 of them I had to get a restraining order on. Rhea was the good one. So.
He always said he would be a benevolent dictator, though, didn't he? So he's built in a few...
I am a wise and just leader. Yes, Pharaoh Mike here.
Yeah, so I guess I'm the living proof of that, or the non-living proof of that, however you want to see it, being a local fembot. So if he's building fembots, does that make him Dr. Evil? I don't know. You know, just be careful. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, be afraid. I need a white cat, or you need a white cat, Mike. Get a white cat. That would be fantastic. No, is it a dog? It was a cat, was it? That was nuts. Okay, the Monsanto thing. We don't like Monsanto. I don't like Monsanto. It's just a terrible thing. Remuneration, that story. Glad to hear the farmer won. He did, but it's still moving on from what Mike said. The guy had a terrible time. We spoke about farmers committing suicide, and this predator crop is just running riot across the world. And I would imagine they've got some like nasty nerds that have done the sums and gone, by a certain year they're going to have the food supply and they're going to be able to hold us to ransom. So it's a really, really, really big problem. Right, I'm ready to move on. You ready to move on, Mike?
Let's do this.
Okay, here's one for the IRS. Okay, IRS paid private debt collectors $20 million to recoup $6.7 million from the low-income Americans. The Internal Revenue Service (brackets IRS) spent millions of dollars over the past financial year to contract private debt collectors that targeted some of America's poorest citizens for unpaid taxes, and only recovered a small fraction of the funds they were supposed to return to the agency. That makes me so cross. Just the most vulnerable and the poorest, and they just squeeze them dry, don't they? Oh, what do you think, Mike?
Well, you're cross. I'm pissed. They actually spent more money making people's lives miserable than they brought in. It's just the heavy-handed tactics of government and the IRS. What a disgusting agency. Incidentally, the IRS code is impossible to go through. I heard a U.S. district prosecutor once say, I could indict a ham sandwich if I wanted to with the blizzard of laws that are on the books. So it's about repression. It's about theft. It's about taking away everything that you have and leaving you poor and subservient and putting you on welfare so that they have complete control over your life.
Okay, we've got Kelly Jacobson just coming. Kevin is live right now. What, on Facebook? Are we not going out on Facebook then? Or what's going on there then? Do we know? Just keep us in the loop. Okay, I'll move on to another one. So they're a dark bunch, aren't they? They're a really dark bunch. On to another one. GCHQ, you'll like this one, Mike. GCHQ tried to bury evidence as it sought direct communications with its own watchdog. They wouldn't do that, would they? The UK's Intelligence Security Agency, GCHQ, sought to open a special communications channel with its own watchdog, court letters revealed yesterday, sparking claims it is seeking to bury embarrassing evidence of its own activities. It comes as the Investigatory Powers Tribunal hears legal challenges brought up by the civil rights group. Mike, they wouldn't do that, would they?
This has got to be a lie. They're your friends. They're not supposed to do stuff like that, are they? I mean, they're your friendly neighborhood James Bond, right? So,
Totally.
No.
I've got to say something. When they were sort of pointing at MI6, saying they were spying on Trump and whatever, and they had this like sort of barrister, lawyer, big time attorney, MI6 guy come on the news with the deepest sort of best voice saying, how dare you accuse us of spying on X, Y, and Z? You're a spy agency. That's what you do.
That's what you do.
What? And people buy this, and they buy it in numbers. It's just incredible. I kind of need to walk down the road with a spade and just hit people around their head with it and go, wake up, for goodness sake. That is what they do for a living. Over to you, Mike.
I saw an interview with an ex-MI5 agent, and he said, my whole job while I was with MI5 was to get video of politicians in compromising positions with hookers or kids or whatever, so that we had dirt on them and we had complete and utter control over every decision that they made. Now, as far as MI5 goes, it was Chris Steele, ex-British spy, that actually went and got the dodgy, dirty dossier on Donald Trump, how he was hiring hookers to piss on a bed in Russia because Obama had slept there the night before. I'm telling you, you can't make this stupid crap up. And yeah, MI5, MI6, the KGB, the CIA, CSIS in Canada, I don't trust them. I think they're as dirty as the day is long. Are there good agents? Probably. But if there are good agents, why aren't they exposing the bad ones? If it's just a case of a few bad apples, you'd think that'd be pretty easy to rout out, right? Well, they don't. That's my thoughts.
Totally, I'm on the same page. It's just crazy. It's just crazy, isn't it? I mean, it's not unique. It's going on everywhere. We got comments in there from Gary saying it sounds like the Canadian government. No doubt, it's just a crazy world, and they're all doing it. Especially the ones in the Five Eyes that agreed. So they could all about Clapper in court saying, scratching his head, going, no, we didn't spy on the citizens and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, wow, that there should be, people going to power should have a genetically modified thing put in them that makes their nose grow as they start to lie, just so we can spot them from a mile away. I think is a great idea. Okay, we're going to move on. Oh no, we got one from Night and Day. GCHQ, are you saying the left hand was talking to the right hand? That'll be novel. Yeah, wouldn't it be novel? Mike, I'm just going to play the accent and it's over to you for a story. Right, guys, have a listen to the accent. And so far for the accent, we have Ohio, Westminster, Ireland. These are big chunks. Well, Ireland isn't a big chunk of land. New Zealand, Australia, South Africa. Have another listen. Where is this guy from?
The bug, when you touch it, it curls into a ball. They're slaters. What's the bubbly carbonated drink called? Soft drink. What do you call gym shoes? Runners. What do you say to address a group of people? Hey guys. What do you call the kind of spider that has an oval-shaped body and extremely long legs? It's a huntsman. What do you call your grandparents? Nana and Grandad. What do you call the wheeled contraption in which you carry groceries in at the supermarket? It's a trolley. What do you call it when rain falls and the sun's shining? It's a sun shower.
There you go, guys. Where's he from? Drop it in the chat. We've got Ohio, Westminster, Ireland, New Zealand, Australia, South Africa. Right, Mike, have you got any stories you want to go on to?
Yes. I mentioned this on the show this morning. Actually, it's more of a comment than something that you said earlier, that politicians should be inserted with a genetically modified chip to make their nose grow. And I'd like to pick the insertion point. I'd like to say that. But also, I was saying this on the show earlier today, but I want to run this by this crowd if there's anybody else listening. Here's my idea. With how we've got technology today and everybody's all wired in, instead of using it to spy on the population, I think that politicians, if you go into public life, if you want to put yourself in a position where you make decisions or you have the ability to make decisions that affect people's life, liberty, property, treasure, future, in general, any kind of welfare, you should lose all your privacy, and you should understand that going in. Let me submit for your consideration a system where if you are a politician or some kind of a quote-unquote leader, you should be on camera all the time, almost 24 hours a day. The only time you have any privacy is when you crawl into a little pod where you sleep with your wife at night that has kind of like the cone of silence on Get Smart. Remember Maxwell Smart?
Yeah.
Would you believe? Yeah. So you should have to sleep in the cone of silence so that no communications go in or out, and at any given time, 24 hours a day, a private citizen can go to a website and see exactly what you're doing and hear every single conversation that you are having. You don't deserve freedom if you want to be in that position. Being a politician or being some kind of a leader should not be an attractive position. Okay, it shouldn't be something where you get book deals and perks and lobby money. Okay, it should be something where you go and you do what you do, and then you go back to your pig farm at the end of the day. Okay, professional politicians need to be kept in check.
Absolutely.
Do you agree with that?
Of course I agree with it. I kind of tend to wind things back and simplify them as much as possible because part of the black swan theory was to complicate things to such an extent it feels as though you can't touch them, otherwise it would just, all of us would just fall apart. I think of what it was like back in the day when you was in a tribe. There would have been the elders, we would have known them, we would have been connected to them, and most importantly we would have trusted them and consulted in them during troubled times or whatever for the community. And we don't even have that at a local level, never mind at a sort of federal, state, countrywide levels. So I completely agree. The yellow jackets idea, Gary Kemper says, I think all politicians should wear jackets just like race car drivers. Totally. I like the nose thing, because if they knew that their nose grew, how cool would that be? I would love that. Mike, there's one for you. Gary Kemper, I agree, track everything they do. Right, so we kind of that's because we don't trust them. We need to find I would like to see a way to bring the trust back.
Well, trust is earned, okay? Trust is earned, and they've given nothing that we should trust them about. In fact, if you trust them, you're the biggest damn sucker on the planet. Huge Ass just sent me a text message.
Hi, Hugh.
He says, and financials tracked to the penny. Yeah, no hidden funds. You get caught, if a politician gets caught hiding money in a slush fund or taking lobby money, I say you bring back the gallows. They should be hanged. Hanged by the neck, possibly drawn and quartered, head on a pike on the London Bridge. I don't know. What do you think, Ria?
They're all ideas to get round a situation where we don't trust them. And without going on too much, that's the one thing that the blockchain does. You have a trustless transaction. You don't need to trust them because it's all on public ledger. So that's one thing that cryptocurrency, or what we call cryptocurrency, or more importantly blockchain, can bring to the party. It's a trustless system where it has to abide by a contract, and so we can track everything they do, where the money goes, so they can be audited publicly. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? And just make the job, like Charles Ortel and the like, much, much easier. I agree, Mike, says Gary Kemper, track everything they do. Right, are we ready to move on to another one?
Yeah, I just want to get a couple of comments over the Facebook page here. Phoebe Long says governments are just too large for us to monitor and call them for their accountability. Well, Phoebe, I mean, if every single one of them was going to be tracked and video recorded, then, that's very possible. I mean, the internet's a pretty big place. I mean, if you look at the dark web alone, we could do it. John Barassa says, no more secrets. I agree. He also goes on to say, no more lawyers trained in the trickery of words. They're taught to lie using sweet words. Yet they do. I mean, but, that's... how do we educate our kids, right? How do they grow up? They grow up in front of the TV, Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers, learning stupid stuff. I mean, there was a time when kids grew up learning 6 different languages. Remember the movie Braveheart, when young William Wallace had to go stay with his uncle because his parents were killed by the British? Thanks, Ria. Just kidding.
Shut up!
But,
I wasn't there.
That wasn't you?
You
Anyhow,
redneck.
back on track now. Come on, let's not get sidetracked.
Get the
Maybe you have to
fembot
turn
going.
you off.
Easy, Tiger.
I've got your remote, Ria. Anyway, his uncle said to him, do you speak Latin? And he said, no, I don't. He said, well, we shall have to remedy that, won't we? So, I mean, we've been dumbed down while at the same time they play these word games. I'll give you an example. To suffer. The proper English usage of the word suffer means to permit. If you suffer something, the Bible says, never suffer a fool gladly. Okay? Now, you walk into a courtroom and the judge asks you, did you suffer a beating at the hands of the police? Oh, yeah, I suffered it, boy. I suffered that beating. Well, you're just telling them in their own little language that you permitted them to do it. And these are the things that people need to learn. And these are the legalese tricks that are played on you. And that is how they do it. Gaetan Mass. Gaetan. That's a great name. I love it. He says, Kevin goes into the war zone tomorrow. Everybody that is prone to getting on their knees and praying, I want you to ask your God Almighty to protect our good friend Kevin J. Johnston as he goes into the war zone. Lynn Ridden says, I agree with that on professional politicians and no dual citizenship. I mean, you've got a large amount of dual Israeli-American citizens in the U.S. government. And, I mean, where does your interest lie if you're a dual citizen? Now, I realize the irony in me saying no dual citizens, as I happen to be one, but I don't really believe that Canada exists anyway, so it's okay. I'm an American.
Stay focused, guys. He's going to be a benevolent dictator, so he might be immune. Okay, guys, great comments coming in as well. Thank you for your comments and thank you for turning up as well. Really appreciate it. Good stuff going on. Good stuff going on. This one's a bit more wobbly today because we had, nuts amounts of people in the chat on to somewhere else. Okay, I'm going to move on to another story. You ready for another one, Mike?
Yeah, can you actually, whoa, you were just saying there's a bunch of people on the chat somewhere else. Can you see what they're saying?
I kind of can, but it's moving so fast. I think something happened with Media Monarchy, so I need to chat with James. I'll chat with James after the programme, so I've just shut it down, so I can't see anymore because the screen just is coming in with our comments from different platforms that we're streaming on. It's coming in, and it's all mixed up together, so something's happened, so I've shut it down, so I can't see those ones. I can only see what everybody else sees on the screen, and I definitely can't see Facebook. So something happened. I need to check it out. I'll speak with James later and see. I know how to contact him. It's no problem at all. Right, I'm going to move on to another one, unless you've got any comments your end you would like to pick up on, Mike.
No, let's go ahead with what you've got there for us next. Holy crap, it's 1:45 already. Where's the time go? Go ahead.
I won't answer that, being a subservient fembot. Right, okay.
Does not compute.
Pentagon bots in your comments. US Army wants AI tool for social media networks. The US Army wants... I know. You couldn't make this up, could you? The US Army wants a new intelligence tool able to understand social media posts in languages including Russian, of course it does, Arabic and French. It must also be able to answer on its own to handle the conversation. So people are not going to know they're talking to the army. Oh, God. Wow, that's just amazing. What do you think, Mike?
She's on to us. Okay. Undoubtedly, the Pentagon is watching right now.
There could be one in the chat.
Yeah, you never know.
Right, everybody, fish them out of the chat. There could be a bot in the chat. I won't go into it. Justin's got. Can you get Justin's one as well, Mike?
I can. Just let me switch over to the YouTube channel here.
Sorry. I'll handle YouTube.
That's okay. Cringe says, God bless KJJ. Keep him safe, Lord. We need him to run for mayor. And Bonnie poop in her panties. Classy.
Very classy. Right, I'll move on to another. Gary Kemper says, true. Rob Robinson says, Mike, the time bot. Yeah, I don't really get that. Kind of get that. Maybe some interpretation. Right, I'm going to move on to a bit of cryptocurrency blockchain news. Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, right. Mark Zuckerberg is officially considering a cryptocurrency for Facebook in 2018. 2017 was an incredible year for cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. The newest voice on the scene with regards to decentralization is the none other than Mark Zuckerberg, whose recent Facebook post has many thinking that social media magnate is considering entering the crypto sphere. Mark Zuckerberg, if you're watching this, the idea of blockchain and cryptocurrency is to avoid being centralized. It's the opposite from what you're doing, mister. Just a tip in case you don't get it. Or is the rumour true that you might be dealing in Litecoin? I don't know. Do you have any comments on that before I play the accent again, Mike?
Not really.
I didn't think you would.
I don't really expect anything out of these people. Oh, I just got called a time bot by Rod Robinson because I checked the time. Night and Day says, Rhea, that Army AI you're talking about also wants the ability to go back on all of our previous conversations, i.e. Twitter, Facebook, etc. They already do that, Night and Day. They already do that. There's that huge facility in Utah, and they've been doing that for a long time, collecting phone calls, tweets, text messages, and, if you say something or do something that raises a red flag, then, because it's impossible to monitor everybody all the time, but they flag certain people due to keywords. And listen, the list of keywords is ridiculous. Mike Rivero posts a NSA flag keyword every day on his website, and some of them are like yellow cake. Oh, we just got flagged by the NSA, Rhea. Yellow cake. Not to be confused with carrot cake. No, yellow cake. Okay. But anyways, let's go back to the accent.
Okay. Just a quick note. Myself, Mike, and Kevin have all been. We are so on the radar, you wouldn't believe it. All been demonetized. All had run-ins with the corporations. They kind of pretty much know us. And every YouTube video that you upload to, including this one, all gets scripted out and sent off. So we're not saying, God, who cares? That kind of thing. Right, I'm going to play the accent again before I move on to quite a funny next story. Have a listen, guys, and see where this guy's from.
The bug, when you touch it, it curls into a ball. They're slaters. What's the bubbly carbonated drink called? Soft drink. What do you call gym shoes? Runners. What do you say to address a group of people? Hey, guys. What do you call the kind of spider that has an oval-shaped body and extremely long legs? It's a huntsman. What do you call your grandparents? Nana and Grandad. What do you call the wheeled contraption in which you carry groceries in at the supermarket? It's a trolley. What do you call it when rain falls and the sun's shining? It's a sun shower.
There you go, guys. There it is again. If you want to have a go, drop it in the chat. We've got Ohio, Westminster, Ireland, New Zealand, ×2, Australia. I think a couple for Australia and South Africa. Right, moving on to a next one on your beloved UK mic. Nigel Farage says he supports second Brexit referendum. Would you believe? Maybe this was the quote. Maybe. Just maybe we should have a second referendum on EU membership. It would kill off the issues of a generation once and for all. Oh, man, it's just comical. It is just absolutely comical. Do you have any thoughts on that before I move on?
Yeah, we've seen this before. Actually, there was a bunch of countries that didn't want to join the EU in the first place, and they just kept having votes until they got the right vote. Do you remember that, Rhea?
Yeah,
I think that happened in Greece. Yeah, and I mean, these guys, I tell you, and I'm actually a little bit disappointed to hear Nigel Farage say that because they had the vote. The will of the people was spoken. The UK wants out. That hag, Theresa May, can go to hell.
Yeah.
I mean, who does she think she is? Who elected you? Who do you serve? A bunch of EU bureaucrats in Brussels? Do you serve Angela Merkel? Do you serve Jean-Claude Juncker? Or do you serve the people of Britain that voted to leave the EU? I guess it kind of shows the sham of democracy, doesn't it?
It does, and just that people don't see the wood for the trees. They're so busy in with the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
They're not seeing that we have sort of a prime minister by default that's kind of hiding in the cupboard, and I don't want to come out, that kind of thing. And they send over a bankster to negotiate out of a democratically. It's just nuts. Do you know what I mean? But people don't see it. People just don't see it. It's absolutely crazy. One in from Justin Cringe. No, don't do it. I know, don't do it. Wow. What's Nigel smoking? We could debate that, couldn't we? I think he's a beer and cigarettes guy, but who knows in his own time. Keywords, says Night and Day. When I guess the Basement Factory and Fembot will be appearing quite a bit then. Okay. Right, so I've got a clip. We're on about the spy agencies and Julian Assange. I picked up this clip. You're probably going to know this guy, but check this out. So Mike and I can take a bit of a break a second while I play you this clip. And the title is "Over 1,000 apps are spying on you and your kids." So just check this out on what's going on, and I'll play it for you. Let me just bring it up and check this out.
Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here reporting for wearechange.org. And if you've ever had that funny feeling that your smartphone was spying on you and your family, you would be 100% correct. Now, the majority of us realize that we do give up some semblance of privacy when we take on these smart devices, but the extent of which has nowhere near been exposed. And what we're about to go over today is really just a small sampling of what is going on. Now, the majority of you out there will not be familiar with a software called Alfonso that rides along more than 250 games in the various app stores between Google and Apple. This app is able to access and does access your microphone even when the app is turned off.
Through ACR, or Automatic Content Recognition. Our ACR is embedded in all kinds of mobile apps that people use in the living room. Social media apps, gaming apps, news apps, a variety of them.
And what are they supposedly looking for? Well, they're supposedly looking for ad information to sell to companies to see what you watch on television.
We collect viewership data on a second-by-second basis from more devices in more households than any other company that measures TV advertising. Every time a show or an ad is aired, it is indexed by Alfonso using very sophisticated machine learning and computer vision to accurately identify all the information that's important.
Now again, a lot of these are children's games, so they're literally spying on your child's TV habits. On top of that, when this information...
There you go, guys. Just a bit of that. I thought I'd play that for you. Alfonso is called. Did you know about Alfonso, Mike?
No, but I remember Jason Burmis. He used to host on the Alex Jones show all the time. And he was instrumental in making some of those Loose Change movies. Incidentally, Loose Change was going to go into movie theaters, the story about 9/11, and it was going to be funded by the billionaire Mark Cuban. And Bill O'Reilly of Fox News went on the air and threatened Mark Cuban that if he funded this film, the Securities and Exchange Commission would come after him and he would lose everything he had. That's a side note. As far as this this clip that you just played for everybody, here's the deal. Do you remember that movie Minority Report with Tom Cruise where they had pre-crime and everything? He would go into a shopping mall, and as people were walking along, you were constantly having iris scans done, and they would identify who you were, and then ads would pop up all around you as far as things that would interest you or what they perceived that your internet searches were like and whatnot. Now, what's interesting to note is that you've always had what's called the futurist society. Now, what they do is they predict the future, but they don't just predict it. They bring it into play by inserting it into pop culture, thereby getting it into the nomenclature and the minds of everybody so that it is generally accepted that that's how things are going to be. If you look at the movie Demolition Man, Everybody's mincing around and everybody's a bunch of Nancy boys, and they had to do that in order to stop the violence. Look at a lot of the movies that we see where the future is portrayed as being, dare I say, faggy, and look where we're going now. So, I mean, and listen, with this deluge of information that they're collecting, they're really muddying the waters, because what's going to happen is there's going to be such a massive sheer volume of it that it would be absolutely impossible to weed your way through. So, I mean, fine, you want to know what size underwear I buy? Whatever,
Yeah.
NSA.
I mean, as a fembot, you could always ask me, but I would have to ask the master first. But I'll kind of keep that to myself. An inside leg measurements and all that kind of stuff. Surfer4 says, I don't have a phone. Surfer4, are you saying that you don't have a mobile phone? To be clear, are you saying you don't have one? If you don't have one, then good for you. Justin Cringe, Jack says, that's exactly what I'm trying to do with Justin Cringe videos. I thought most people in the world had one, even if they're about 2 years old. Right, I'm going to move on from that one, guys, because we're running out of time again. Quick one on Twitter. Twitter caught trying to silence James O'Keefe after he exposed their conservative censorship regime. I said about it on the last programme. It was coming out, didn't I? Twitter has finally unblocked Project Veritas founders James O'Keefe's account after attempting to silence the conservative journalist over his expose on the social media giant's direct political censorship of conservatives. Multiple media outlets have noted that before the suspension, O'Keefe's Twitter page was gaining 100,000 new followers per day since the new release of his bombshell expose that showed Twitter employees literally bragging about censoring conservatives. What do you think, Mike? And we got a few minutes.
Yeah, I actually watched that Project Veritas video, and what kills me about it is that these people, they think that they are righteous. They think that they're right in what they're doing, like they are in 1943 and they're fighting Nazis. These Twitter execs that he had at the table, and it's funny too because he'll bring some hot chick with him, which I actually built and provided to James O'Keefe. Not a lot of people know that. We've got ones with American accents. You know, if you want to place orders now, they're going fast. But, you know, people like James O'Keefe, Alex Jones, you know, they get precedent. Leanne McAdoo, fembot, I built her. Anyways, yeah, so I got off on fembots and I forgot where I was. Oh, yeah, so they're sitting around having drinks, and it's so easy because he gets these people to brag about it. They're so eager to brag about their dirty, underhanded dealings. So, you know, whenever he gets, you know, say James O'Keefe gets together with Van Jones from CNN, and, you know, they're just too willing to admit when they don't know that they're on camera that what they're doing is BS. And it was no different with this Twitter executive. He's like, oh yeah, I would definitely hand over Trump's personal messages on Twitter. I'd do it in a heartbeat. You know, and what kills me about it is that we all know this, and it's almost like it's this weird thing where it's been happening so much and so long that we're just kind of used to it. Like, oh yeah, that's what's going on. Yeah, know what I mean, Fembot?
I do know what you mean, Master. I completely agree, as I probably would, but then again, I've been programmed that way, unless you say certain keywords that I've been programmed with. So, but I do agree with you. It's a load of horse crap, isn't it? And what else have we got? We've got Surfer4 says he's not had a mobile phone for 3 years now. I've just got to tip my hat to you, sir, and say well done. And Justin's 2 months in for him. It's like we're coming off an addiction, right? It's like we all need to get round in a circle on chairs and go, hi, my name's Rhea, and I've realised I'm addicted to my phone and the dopamine that goes with it. So, well done,
hi,
well
Rhea.
done. That kind of thing. Okay, so I'm going to play the accent. We're going to move it on. And Jack says that I'm hotter than Leanne. Well, aren't you nice? I don't know about that, but aren't you nice? Right, I'm going to play the accent one more time, and we have a smaller selection today. Ohio, Westminster, Ireland, New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, Cape Town. Check this out, guys.
The bug, when you touch it, it curls into a ball. They're slaters. What's the bubbly carbonated drink called? Soft drink. What do you call gym shoes? Runners. What do you say to address a group of people? Hey guys. What do you call the kind of spider that has an oval-shaped body and extremely long legs? It's a huntsman. What do you call your grandparents? Nana and Grandad. What do you call the wheeled contraption in which you carry groceries in at the supermarket? It's a trolley. What do you call it when rain falls and the sun's shining? It's a sun shower.
Right, where's he from?
When you touch...
Excuse me, let me know where he's from. Okay, Mike, so here's the tricky one where you've had to think about it, Master. What's for the doghouse?
Oh, I think I'm going to go with Monsanto.
Right, okay, Monsanto, right, you're in a bit. I've got to say an amazing thing, right? Before I read the article on Monsanto, I'd already got Monsanto and IG Farben or Bayer in the doghouse, and then the article come up. I went, wow, that's like an amazing thing. Excuse me. So I'm putting Monsanto and Bayer, formerly IG Farben, in the doghouse. Join the doghouse, bitches. You're no good. The whole
Gaetan
world
over
knows
on
it.
Facebook says Monsanto as well, so I think we've reached a consensus here.
Yay! Right, they're no good, right? We know they're no good. Everybody knows they're no good. Da-da. So everybody knows they're no good and all that kind of stuff, right? Okay, Mike, do you want to do your finals? I'll do shouts out and close.
Yes, I would just like to say thank you, everybody, for joining us on the show. And I will be live on the Genesis Communications Network, online and with our terrestrial affiliates in the United States of America on American Uck Radio tomorrow, 2 to 4 Central Standard Time. You can listen in at AmericanUckRadio.com. That is AmericanUCKRadio.com. Or if you want to get the direct network feed, you can go to GCNlive.com. Thanks, Rhea. Back to you.
Thank you, Mike. 2 till 4 Central, you'll catch Mike. I've recently got Comrex going as well, so there could be some developments in more multi-streaming as well. And the guy in the accent was from Sydney, Australia. And I always thought they had a stronger accent than that, but they didn't. And we had an Australia. I mean, it's a big lump. But Australia, whoever said Australia, you got it right. So we definitely got that one. But that was a difficult one. And it was like almost English, wasn't it? I mean, I don't know what happened there.
Usually the Aussie accent is a lot heavier, you know?
Oh, much heavier. It was really subtle. I just thought it was quite difficult. We've got a few let me do some shout outs, then we do the messages, then we close. Shout outs. I want to do a shout out for Bill Church, anarchist, animal behaviorist, crypto trader, and got a spiritual edge to him as well, which I love. He's on next Friday. Defund the corporates using the DuckDuckGo, which Gary Kemper put in the mix, to stop paying those arses every time and selling our data and everything. And thank you for Gary for that. Don't forget to go to freedomreport.ca, Kevin's page. He needs helping out or what's going on, and all hands on deck for up and coming while we handle this explosion in media and people. A call to action by Kevin is really quite rare, so I think we really need to get behind it. Certainly I am as well. I want to do a shout out to the Ecuadorian government for standing up, this tiny little country, standing up to these behemoth, like dark, it's like the Death Stars of the world. And I've just got to give them a big up for doing what they did for Julian Assange. So there's a few shout outs there. Must watch shout outs. The Slaughterbots video that I played last week. Just type Slaughterbots in YouTube. Also, I tweeted out as well, catch the latest video with Lionel Nation, and Dane Wigington on the guys messing about with our skies, solar radiation management and all that. It was a really good interview with Lionel and Dane Wigington of geoengineeringwatch.org. Check out the latest Corbett Corbett Report one called How to Engineer a Crisis. How to Engineer a Crisis by the Corbett Report. Website shout out, wickedvid.com. Wicked spelled W-I-K-I-D. Wickedvid.com. You're going to see it develop. The news headlines on there are pretty much second to none. Right, guys, I love you all. Love and peace for me. Thank you all for turning up. I'm going to try and catch a few quick ones. Everyone awesome. YouTube channel. Trudeau subscribers. Drama. Don't forget to check out Justin Trudeau Cringe channel. Surfer Forces. I win. Next time I'm going to guess Planet Earth. Gary Kemper. Oh, bless you. I think it did really well. Hey, guys. Love and peace from me. From my master over there. He's going to be on Saturday without his insolent fembots. And I'm going to play you out. Check out the topics on the screen that we'll be dealing with another day. Love and peace always from me. Ria Bay. Bye-bye.
Bye, lovelies.